Oh, we're live, Manchester United. We've got our striker, Rasmus Hojlund, to Manchester United. Here we go. I can press the button, not just yet because of copyright reasons. I don't want Nintendo suing me, but we've got our striker. I tell you what, I'm fast. It's almost as if I was just recording a video about Rasmus Hojlund. I was waiting. I've been playing the waiting game all day. I've been scrolling, I've been waiting, I've been checking my notifications, I've been waiting for it to happen. I was thinking, come on, with all the stuff that's been going on today, Rasmus Hojlund, he's in England. He was at the Bournemouth Vitality Stadium today. He didn't play for Atalanta, he was on the bench, but I was waiting. The whole time I was waiting, and I cracked a little bit. I went, oh, maybe it's not going to come today. And the moment I finished, bang, there it is. Rasmus Hojlund to Manchester United. Here we go. The striker has been secured. Third signing of the summer, not officially confirmed. Obviously, I can't even breathe right now. Right away, calm down, Owen. Calm down. It's obviously not officially confirmed right now, but here we go. Yes. I've already got a super chat here. Red Baron says Flex and Owen are crying themselves to sleep with this one. Means no Kane. Maybe not. You never know. You never know when it comes to it. You never know. Nevertheless, right. Let's go straight into the news. Richard Romano tweeting just a few minutes ago, hot off the press. Rasmus Hojlund to Manchester United. Here we go. An agreement reached right now with Atalanta. Package will be around 70 million euros with add-ons. Clubs preparing documents in the next 24 hours. Hojlund agreed a 5-year deal 10 days ago as he only wanted Manchester United. Now, 70 million euro fee with add-ons. Now, I think it's quite key there. It doesn't actually say if that's 70 million total package, add-ons included, or if it's 70 million plus add-ons. We're not too sure about that. I'll let you know my thoughts about that in just a second. As is always the case with social media, whenever the confirmation comes through that we are about to sign a player, it's all going crazy. Some would say it's all going off. David Ornstein has also just tweeted saying Manchester United have reached an agreement with Atalanta to sign Rasmus Hojlund. Outline personal terms were already in place, and all parties now working to complete move of the Denmark international striker from Atalanta to Manchester United. Just to see if we're caught up to date for the rest of it as well. Alfredo Padula saying the same thing. Of course, he's been all over this deal too, saying Rasmus Hojlund to Manchester United, done deal, big tick. But the big one certainly is from Fabrizio Romano saying that here we go. And we've got our striker, certainly. How do people feel about this? How do people feel about it? Again, they're suggesting, or certainly Fabrizio Romano is suggesting, that this package, and again, the package will be 70 million euros with add-ons. Now, I think there probably needs to be some clarification on this, because the way that you can read that two ways, can't you? Certainly, you can read that one way, which is we're paying a fixed fee of 70 million euros, and then on top of that, we're doing the add-ons. Or the other way you can read it is the package is 70 million euros, including the add-ons, with add-ons included. So he hasn't really properly said there just yet. So maybe we'll have to wait for a little bit more clarification on that. Frankly, my initial reaction to that would be that if it is indeed 70 million euros plus add-ons, that's a lot. That is quite a lot. If it's 70 million euros inclusive of add-ons, that makes more sense considering the first bid was a 50 million euro base fee, fixed fee, with 10 million euros in add-ons, so a 60 million euro package. There was a report yesterday saying United were going to put a second bid in. It was going to be higher than the 60 million euro package, but this would suggest if it was 70 million euros plus the add-ons, i.e. like 5 million euros in add-ons, or even 10, that would be like, wow, they really jumped up with that second bid. So I'm not too sure about that. Oh my goodness me as well. I've just seen Alfredo Padula's tweeted something else too. Right. Who's in for a bit of excitement? Okay, because Alfredo Padula, I will shout him out. He's been all over this. He's been all over this when it comes to all of the signings, particularly the signings from clubs in Italy, which we've now signed to. Andre Onana from Inter Milan, Rasmus Hojlund from Atalanta. But he has just tweeted, and I quote, he has just tweeted, soon, Moroccan flag eyeball emoji. Now, you know me, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the emojis. I'm not a fan of, the flag eyeball timer. But he is suggesting that soon we'll be looking to try and sign, certainly, Sofyan Amrabat as well. And again, he is a very credible Italian football source. So already, and this is kind of what happens, I don't know about you, certainly how I feel, whenever we get a here we go onto one signing, and maybe it's greedy, maybe it's gluttony, look at me, but my initial reaction always is on to the next one. On to the next one. Where's the next one? Where's the next signing? And the next signing potentially could be Sofian Amrabat. A lot has to happen, I think, between now and then, and that's going to be a bigger stretch of time. Primarily because we've got to sell players. We've got to get rid of the likes of Fred. We're going to be getting rid of the likes of Eric Bailly, Dean Henderson, possibly McTominay, possibly Maguire. So those things are going to happen first. The sirens are going off as always because it's all going off. Come on. Get the sirens in the chat, certainly. But yes, let's focus on Rasmus Hojlund first. And be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Nearly already 2K watching. So if you haven't already, click that like button. Remember, you can subscribe too, bottom right-hand corner. You can see the live sub ticker on the top right-hand corner. Let's get to these super chats as well. Skengface, which I've heard that's a bad thing, I think. Am I right? I don't know. Says, loving the daily hard work at Owen. Any idea when Flex will lift the Greenwood embargo on the channel? His return seems imminent. Well, contrary to, I see some people say this sometimes in the comment, there isn't an embargo or anything like that. It's just a case of once the club make an official statement or decision on it, then is the appropriate time to talk about it. Obviously, it's still a really loaded issue. It's still a massive lightning rod issue, and you've got to be careful of people's opinions, and obviously you have to respect people's opinions at the same time. And this is a very conflicting issue, certainly, but it's a very loaded and weighted issue, and I don't think it's an issue that is appropriate to actively speculate on or, you know, use for growth or clicks or anything like that. I mean, people will do that. That's the media industry is filled with that. But I think you actively saw with a story that came out late last night, wasn't it? And then Adidas came out this morning and said that's not true, that's disputed it. And that just goes to show you've got to be really careful, particularly with that kind of subject matter, that that you're respectful and you just wait till the concrete facts are there, which is in the case of the club certainly putting out a statement and deciding what they want to do as well. I can confirm also, I'm getting a phone call from Flex himself. Let's have a look. Flex, you're live on your own channel.
I'm live on my own channel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada in 105-degree heat.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I can't lie. I did see the stories of you arriving there, and I was like, wow, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I'm not going to lie to you. I just saw the Here We Go just now.
Yeah.
So I know you're pre-liable, probably been live for a good... How long have you been live for?
8 minutes.
Oh, look at that. I'm right in there. Here we go.
Yeah.
Rasmus Hojlund, fee agreed, deal done.
Yeah. Do you want to know some details?
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, have you
actually.
Have you seen all of the details?
No, I haven't. I just saw the Here We Go and just rang you straight away and saw you was already live because
I will read you the details. So, Richard Romano, for those that are just joining, over 2K watching, hit the like button. Rasmus Hojlund.
Big up, everyone.
Big up. It says Rasmus Hojlund to Manchester United. Here we go. Agreement reached right now with Atalanta. Now, this is the interesting part of this, Flex. Package. Ooh, you won't be able to hear it. Doesn't matter. Package will be around 70 million euros with add-ons. Club's preparing documents in the next 24 hours. He's agreed a 5-year deal 10 days ago. He only wanted Manchester United, but I'm trying to find a bit more information as to, is that 70 million euros inclusive of add-ons or 70 million euros plus the add-ons? Here we go. Gianluca Damasio is saying that Manchester United will pay 65 million pounds plus a further 8.5 million pounds in add-ons for Rasmus Hojlund. So they're looking at a base fee of 65 million pounds. What say you?
Wow. It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. It's a big outlay. It's a risk. But, yeah, you do have to look at these things two-sided, man. You do. Like, I don't know much about the kid. I've said that from the start, haven't I? I said that I don't know how comfortable I feel with kind of just saying this kid's going to be the new guy. He's our 20-goal season man. And what is an acceptable price for him? I feel like like with most players, though, they should be 10 to 20 million, sometimes a bit more, off the fee that you end up buying them for. But the nature of how it goes, especially at Man United, especially because of the need to actually get one. And you know what? I'm kind of going to just go down the bag of, if he turns out to do well, and if he does well, we're buying a potential. The manager wants him, obviously. Then we're not going to mind too much about the fee. But you can't get away from fees, though, because essentially in the early days, one, fees come with expectancy, and rightly so. You're buying something, and two, it comes with pressure. But then that's when you have to flip it and say, this kid's what is he, 20? He's 20 years of age.
Yeah,
we're buying potential.
Yeah, exactly.
We're buying, hopefully, right for the next 5, 6 years, 7 years.
This season, and this upcoming season, let's be honest too. If it, not that it doesn't work out, but he has, let's just say an average season. Let's say he scores 9 goals again this season for United. Yeah. What we have to do is we have to support him and say, look, it's like we said, we're buying potential. It's going to take time. I have seen recently, and it is quite alarming how quickly some United fans are turning on players that just like a few months ago or last season we really liked. Casemiro played in that Real Madrid friendly. He's washed now, apparently. He's rubbish, Flex. He's terrible. Yeah. He's awful. Like with Rasmus Hojlund, I mean, we can hope he's going to hit the ground running, and I certainly hope so. But there's going to be adjustment, no doubt about it. Again, he's young, and there might be periods of time where Ten Hag has to take him out of the side and say, look, actually, you know what? There's a bit too much too soon for him at the moment. I've got to actively manage him here, and this would 100%. Be the only problem with that is that would be fine if we had another sort of senior striker that
we're back to square one
again. That was going to play every single week, but we don't. So he's coming in, and there's a lot of pressure on him, and it's just a case of managing him appropriately, knowing what pressure is there.
Exactly. There's like I said, it depends what type of fan you are, and it depends what sort of mindset you have with these types of situations. Because again, look, somebody who says, there could be really pessimistic fans out there that say we're trying to close the gap on City and whoever else is going to be up there this season, Arsenal, is it going to be Liverpool, whoever it is, right? But let's just say City, right? We're trying to close the gap on, is getting this 20-year-old kid that not relatively unheard of. He's very inexperienced. Is that going to be the difference? Is that, we were after Harry Kane and now we got this kid? That's how some people will look at this.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be getting a caliber of striker of Harry Kane / Osimhen, but we've got this kid who scored 9 goals at Atalanta. And some of that is true. Well, a lot of that is true. But essentially, how many times also have we said that we need a project striker? If we just isolate the position for a sec, we've needed to have this type of player for a while. Of course, the price seems very high. Of course, the price seems overinflated. Because, this isn't a player that essentially we were looking at for a while. It was all Kane and Osimhen, etc., etc. But we've needed a project striker for a while. Someone to get our teeth into, to build up to what we want them to be. Someone to be our striker for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Like, that's what we want. Gary Neville, exactly. That's what we need. We need this kid to be that. And on top of that, as we do get more settled, we need another forward as well. Like, we're going to need more. Like, this is how you reshape the team. This is how you, again, look back at the transfer windows. And then you're going, well, these are 9 signings that Eric Ten Hag's now made, and 9 of them start, or whatever it may be, within the next couple of years or whatever. So, a couple of windows. So, I can't lie. I'm ready to give the kid the opportunity. I'm ready to give him the patience, the support, back him. I can't commit, if I'm being 100% honest, to like, this is the one, this is exactly what we've needed. He's going to do exactly what, because I don't know. But it is one of the trust the manager again. And you know what, apart from Onana, with the Mount situation as well, and now Hojlund, it is, the signings this year have been a bit more trusted. Well, actually, all of them, apart from maybe Casemiro, where you knew what you was getting.
Yeah.
And even that, he surprised us. When it was Martinez, you're like, well, it's his guy from Ajax, trust the manager. Anthony, it's his guy from Ajax, trust the manager. Eriksen, it was a freebie, and he's played with Ten Hag before, and we know Eriksen, so it's like we need a bit of quality as a stopgap. Malacia, we're like, young kid from Feyenoord, trust the manager, he's Dutch. They're a lot of these signers are trust the manager.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I said, sometimes you have to sort of trust your initial reaction, don't you, when you hear prices and stuff like that, and when you see, because it must be said, and a lot of people are talking about the prices that we're seeing in like the last few minutes are kind of all over the place a little bit, because Romano's saying 70 million euros plus add-ons, but then Gianluca Di Marzio is saying 75 million euros plus 10 million euros in add-ons. But we do know, it must be said, how much what United's add-ons have looked like so far. Here we go. David Ornstein's just tweeted, actually, saying Manchester United will pay Atalanta 75 million euros fixed fee plus 10 million euros in add-ons for Rasmus Hojlund. So he is saying...
Wait, what? Say that bit again?
Manchester United will pay Atalanta 75 million euros fixed fee plus 10 million euros in add-ons for Rasmus Hojlund.
Wait, so that's 85 million?
With
the add-ons included?
As a total package, yeah. So Romano's initial number was off, seemingly.
According to Ornstein.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. He's saying we're paying 75 million
but this is
euros.
But this is odd. But the second part of the tweet, he says Atalanta were seeking 90 million euros, but Manchester United secured the 70 million euro package, which it's not, because he just said it's 75 plus 10. Which would be 85.
I don't know,
so
man.
there's a lot. It must be said. There's a lot of differing numbers, but it would appear, and what is seemingly quite accurate is that it looks like that fixed fee is around 70 million euros plus.
Yeah, whichever way you look at it, with the 5 or 10 million.
Either way, it's a lot. And that's in euros. So maybe you come a little bit down, but it's a lot for a player that again is like 20, scored 9 goals last season, and we're even talking about Flex going, actually, is he even going to be the sort of starting striker? you know what I mean? Because there was a report coming out the other day from Sami Lutka saying they're going to help sort of accommodate him by some games playing Rashi up front. So if you're going to spend this amount of money, then it gets difficult, because like, mate, he's got to probably start quite a few games. You can't. It's challenging.
Yeah, it is challenging, and like I said, Martial's not going to go anywhere unless Saudi came in or someone loaned him, and that's unlikely. Maybe Saudi would, you never know, but he's probably gonna stay. And when Martial is fit, I know we don't want to hear this, Ten Hag will use him.
He'll have to
for however long he can. Like, remember we said that Rasmus Hojlund will be like not the main striker, but definitely the most available striker anyway, because he's young and fit. And whenever or however Martial can support that as a supporting act, he's going to play 70 minutes, then Hojlund's going to come on, or Hojlund's going to start the game, and then Martial's going to come on for 25 minutes. Like, I think we're going to see a lot of that. I really do think we're going to see a lot of that. And just to go back to it, like, I think we're all comfortable basically saying that we've spent the best part, no matter what the add-ons are and the discrepancies between the figures, we've spent the best part of what, 65 million pounds.
I was literally just doing the conversion now, and it's 75 million euros is basically 65 million pound fixed fee, and then if you send 10 million euros and add on, so basically it's about 65 million plus sort of, it gets close to a 70 million pound total package, but 65 million euros as a fixed fee. But striker's more expensive though.
Exactly. If I said to you that, we're going to spend 65 million pounds on a striker, like, it's a lot of money. Like, when you start going above the 50, 50 is kind of like the base mark now for like a lot of players, isn't it? Really, between 40 and 50 is like, that's just decent money. When you start venturing into 70s upwards, you're starting to get towards big fees and big expectations. And I don't know. Like, I feel like we have to have. Do you know what I feel like? I feel like we have to have this conversation now, because obviously it's just happened. But then once it's been had, we almost have to forget about the price and invest in the kid. Like, get behind him, give him time, and forget the price. I know in football it doesn't work like that, and leave it to the rivals who will say, pathetic, Man United spend all this money on this kid, who is he? We're going to get rained on every shot he misses or every bad game he has, potentially. That's what happens in this world of football. But he's our player. He's a Man United player now, and he's someone that our manager clearly proper wanted this kid. And it's like, We just have to be on the journey now and see how good he is.
Well, what's quite
That's it.
interesting,
Like,
actually, Flex, and this gets into some of the information being a bit dodgy, I think, because David Ornstein's just deleted his tweet now. Because, like I said, it didn't make sense. The first half completely contradicted the second half. So Laurie Whitwell's just tweeted now, and this is a bit more. I think this is a bit clearer because he's done this in pounds.
Right.
So Laurie Whitwell has just said the fee for Rasmus Hojlund is £64 million plus £8 million in add-ons, so a total of £72 million possible. But let's take the add-ons out of it, because let's assume that the add-ons are like, oh, United win the league, or he scores 50 goals, or he does whatever. Let's take that. Let's just park that. Let's say you've signed Rasmus Hojlund for £64 million. Still a lot. That is still a lot, but. Well, I can't even say really, but it's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. There's no but. It's a lot for an unknown, unproven kid. Jamie Jackson tweeted the same thing, and he's right. He said he's put just for 28 million more would have got you Harry Kane.
Well,
I mean, Man United need to.
It's easy to say.
That's what I'm saying. It's easy to say. Man United need to be awfully sure that, like you just said there, Owen, that 28 million pounds extra wouldn't have got them Kane. There needs to be something we don't know. Either you can't get him, or he said no, or Levy already. They need to be sure of that, because when you do look at that money, even if you add on a little 10 million here or there, what does the market look like? And then I suppose the striker market in general, what does it look like?
It's not a striker's market this summer, is it?
It's not a striker's market,
No.
So, I mean, I'm just like, look, I can't shy away from it. It feels like we've got our pants pulled down. If we're being honest, it feels like, I don't know. Until I see otherwise, I'm like a kid who is, had a good breakthrough season at Atalanta, scored 9 goals.
Yep. Which I think was some record for like a 19-year-old or something like that in Serie A.
I'm not going to discredit the kid. I'm going to support him, but I can't sit here as a Man United fan. I can't sit here as a United fan and be like, £64 million for this kid, plus the 8 million add-ons. Now, whenever it's add-ons, again,
exclude it.
It usually means you're doing well. So add-ons I don't really mind, because let's just take it for what we've paid now, And 64 million, it's a lot. I don't think anyone can say that that's not a lot.
No, it is a lot, certainly. I think it's interesting to look at the sort of starting valuations from both sides of it, I think, as well, because you had United, who initially came in reportedly thinking, we're going to get him for 40 million euros. We did not get him for 40 million euros, but Atalanta,
should be, in my opinion.
But Atalanta initially wanted 86 million pounds, and of course we've got him for less than that. So I guess we kind of, both sides have met somewhat in the middle, but at the same time, like you said, it's a lot. The thing is with transfers, isn't it? Like we said, if he hit the ground running and starts scoring goals, no one will care. No one will give a shit. But it's unlikely he'll do that because he's so young and so unproven at the same time too, isn't it? So it is a challenging one. I've got a ton of super chats to get to just in a second. And also, I do want to get your thoughts as well, because there's been a hint at who our next signing could be already as well. Red Baron has said, football has gone down the drain when all our time is spent on being accountants as fans. In Eric Ten Hag, I trust, saying basically the fee doesn't matter. Don F says, Owen, I now say I think we have the capacity. Oh, God, don't start going title charge, stuff like that.
Oh, no.
I can't take it. Lil Yo-Yo says, Amrabat to go crazy. Well, bear with, because we've got some Amrabat information very quickly. Jerome says, not going to lie, Owen, 70 million for a lad with 9 goals is a reach. Let's hope he is brilliant, indeed. Let's hope. And even if he's not initially, let's hope he can develop into a brilliant player. Austin Baker's been a member for 12 months, says, let's go, 1 year, and we got a 9 under 30, finally. I suppose it's a good point. We've actually got a young striker, for once. Lucas Chan says, happy 2 years at United View. Yes, 2 years today, Flex. I only realised because I was checking out my Twitter thing earlier on. I didn't realise it was 2 years.
And I actually realised I'd actually, finally commented at the right time.
Yeah, at the right time, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Sully Jr. says, Flex, where are you at in Vegas? Want to meet you. Well, they'll be at the stadium for tomorrow's game. Certainly, they'll be at the is it Allegiant Stadium? Is that where it's at tomorrow?
Yeah, the Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, we're going to go there today to check it out. Do some behind.
It's a beautiful stadium. Also, it's lovely.
It's amazing. Yeah,
they've had some wrestling events there over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
WWE is always here.
Yeah, it's excellent. The Shopping Solution says the tweet by Ornstein was deleted. Indeed, it was. Martial Arts says anyone saying we paid too much. First, it's not your money. Second, we all wanted a striker, so let's celebrate this kid. Third, Daniel Levy would never sell us Harry Kane. Referencing the whole, getting Harry Kane part of it. Scar says, there's a chance we may look back at this on as a horrible window. Silly money for average at best players. Still can't get over the Mount one. Wow. Now, to be honest, though, I have seen people saying that. People are like, oh, no, I'm not having this window. So it's going to be interesting to see how indeed it plays out this season. Steven says, hey, guys, appreciate all you do. I think United is tired of missing out on top talent, and perhaps they truly believe in Hojlund to be great with such high expectations, basically saying that they don't want to miss out on another promising youngster, so they've decided to take a risk. United all the way says, it's funny we spent more than City did for Haaland. Wow, debated, isn't it? Debatable, that one. Because has the Haaland thing ever actually properly come out? Because there's the release clause.
I don't actually know, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of murkiness surrounding Erling Haaland.
And you talk about
add-ons.
You talk about add-ons being activated for success. I mean, they've just won the treble in his first season. Yeah. So, and he scored a hell of a lot of goals.
And to be honest,
broke records,
and even to be honest, if it came out that they spent 200 million on Erling Haaland, I don't think they'd give a shit. They go, we just won the treble.
No one would say, because if you used to sell Erling Haaland now after one season at City, what would his price be? Probably would be that.
Yeah, exactly. Keel said we paid 70 million for the striker version of Ahmad, WTF, and Shane is the latest member of the UB Members Club. Welcome to Shane. You can join Shane in the UB Members Club. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat as well. Other transfer news as well, actually CeeLo, perfect segue, says Rasmus in, next Amrabat, let's go. And the reason I say that, Flex, is because Alfredo Padula, the moment that the Rasmus Hojlund thing was announced, or certainly the news broke about that, he said soon, Moroccan flag eyeball emoji. Now, Alfredo Padula's been all over the Italian-based transfers, Onana, Hojlund, and has been saying a lot about Amrabat, so is he the next one to come in?
I think it goes with the timeline, doesn't it? In terms of, Fred, Donny, I read that obviously maybe a little bit of a reluctance to let Scott McTominay go so soon if Kobbie Mainoo's going to be injured for a couple of months. But I think it fits the timeline, and if Fred was to leave, which that looks nailed on, doesn't it, really? And I think you would also agree it looks nailed on that Donny van der Beek will leave as well. Mm-hmm. I think Amrabat's perfect. You know what I feel about him, how good I think he is, and what type of player that we have in him. And it's more about having the strength in depth. Like all these players, sometimes you get wrapped up with who's going to start. Not our problem. The player who's most informed, the player who is the best player for the job, will start. That's as simple as it is. I don't think we need to get infatuated with, we got this person. So where does this person fit in? Because especially for 25 million quid, if that's what he's going to cost, in and around that, I think he's a really safe bet. And I think he improves us as well. I was looking at some of his stats compared to our other midfielders, and he's got a higher pass percentage than sort of Fred and Casemiro. Similar duels, because again, some of the attributes were actually very similar to like Casemiro, Fred, and McTominay. Things that people might not want to hear, but like things like duels and percentage of winning the ball back, very similar to Fred. But he excels with the ball, which again, that is classic Fred, isn't it? Fred is physical and can cover every blade of grass and can run and can engage in trying to win the ball back. That's actually his strength. Casemiro is another one, might not run as much yards, but again his pitch awareness and where to be in his positioning and his duels, he's going to win a high amount of duels. Same with McTominay, he's physical, get about the pitch, he's going to win duels. But with with Fred and McTominay, obviously the quality on the ball, trying to dictate a tempo, range of passing isn't there.
No.
And especially with McTominay, not that type of player anyway. So I think Amrabat is a great signing to help us in that department. Especially, again, what we can't rule out, remember, is losing two midfielders in terms of Van der Beek and Fred. They're two active members. I know Van der Beek's been injured for a while, but they're two players who are regularly on the bench in the squad. So they need replacing, and Amrabat's a good replacement.
Yeah, I mean, and he does feel like a bit of a player on the rise a little bit. I mean, he turns 27 next month, but he's had a good World Cup, played well in that Europa Conference League final. Fred, I mean, he's younger than Fred, so it might be, he's not exactly like for like. I think there's an argument to be made he could be better, a bit maybe more technically than Fred, but it was quite funny because Jamie Jackson did a piece last night saying he was going to cost £50 million, and everyone went, what? And then it quickly got edited to £30 million. So it's actually that 25... Exactly, that sort of 25 to 30. But as I've said quite a lot over the last week or so, I think a lot of those reports that suggest that, it's already been agreed, it's done, that's quite far-fetched. I think we'll get Amrabat, but I think it's like we said, there's a timeline to this one. And the timeline is, it's always been, get Hojlund in, and then get a big group of players out. So like you said, Fred, Donny, Henderson, Bailly, maybe McTominay, maybe Maguire, one of them possibly. And then with that money, they get Amrabat. And then I think also too, and this is why it's so key to get the right amount of money for someone like McTominay if you can from West Ham. And don't settle for a low number. And same with Harry Maguire. Settle for as high as you can get, because you might come the end of the window after you've got Amrabat in and you've got Hojlund in. You go, right, we've got these 4 people. You go, actually, there's a bit left over.
Exactly.
We can get someone else. Exactly. And maybe we can get an older striker, let's say, to support Rasmus Hojlund. They're not the best striker or anything like that, but we can bring someone in and actually they can support Hojlund. Then we've got more options up front, possibly.
Exactly. And that's what I'm not against. It's like, I know the Colin Mulaney shout was what was that? What was the price for it? Was that like 15, 20 million?
Not the Sirens.
It changes every week. You never really know. But, there was some other strike, other forwards sort of quoted around that price. And it is about getting the support, and it is about building a squad like we've been saying, that has the depth, that has people who can easily come in and can easily, do a job. So, look, Ten Hag, I think back to Ten Hag, actually, he's making really, really big decisions,
Yeah.
Really, really big decisions. Like, squad-changing decisions, like really taking us in a different direction. The profile of player that we've been getting, the type of player, the demographic of where they play, like, it's been massive what he's doing. And this is all part of his plan. I'm just intrigued to see how this all knits together. I was talking to someone out here in Vegas yesterday. Rack has been really good to us, sort of taking us round and stuff. Huge Man United fan, huge fan of the channel. And I was just talking at the table and just talking about, Bruno kind of keeps getting shifted out to the right hand side quite a bit, to accommodate other players. What's Ten Hag's thinking behind? But if he sees Bruno as the best in his position, as the number 10, as chief creator, as someone who's created the most chances in the league, why is he the one who gets shifted out to the right? And we're all around the table going, that's quite, that's kind of weird. That's kind of true. Like,
I mean, the Bruno on the right thing. I was literally the moment that it was that team came out against Madrid, and you kind of realised Bruno might be on the right. It was fucking hell, like, because we've seen it, and it's not as if it's not as if Bruno can't do the job there, but it's just like he's not as effective clearly, and even if. So he didn't have the best game anyway, but if he's in the middle when he's not having the best game, sometimes he can kind of work his way into having a better game. You know what I mean?
Bit of magic's going to happen.
Yeah. You're right.
And it's like, and I was just basically saying that, the top draw players, which I believe Bruno is, I'm glad he's our captain, they don't get moved out of position.
No.
It just doesn't happen. De Bruyne don't get moved out of position. Roy Keane didn't get moved out of position. Scholes didn't get moved out of position. Vieira didn't get moved out of position. Gerrard didn't get moved out of position. Like, the best players, they play in their position at all times. Now, I know you can get like it's a compliment to the player because they're adaptable. I get that. So you're looking at Mason Mount, you say, well, he's less adaptable than Bruno. He can't do a job. And players that can do a job across the pitch are invaluable. We've had John O'Shea's before. We've had Park Ji-sungs. You've had Darren Fletcher's. We've had players who can do a bit of everything. But essentially, with what Bruno is and how good of a 10 he is and how much he creates, how comes we're doing that? Yeah. And that isn't just in the pre-season. We've done that at big away games last year. So, I don't know. But back to Ten Hag, it's like, I can't wait to see... and as someone said, Scholes did play on the left and right there. Yeah, I know he did in in certain games, and especially for England. I know they try to shoot
but then
all in,
what's the narrative about Paul Scholes at international level? Is that he was wasted because he was
go.
placed in that position. Everyone
Very
said,
much
imagine
wasted.
they sacrificed him for playing in midfield with Scholes and with Lampard and Gerrard. And so they had to put Scholes out on the left, and he turned into a left midfielder. Right. And he retired early because not because he missed home, but because it was like, I'm not important.
Didn't work. Exactly, didn't work. So, you know, like I get it. I get it. Like there's, you know, managers can be quite meticulous and come up with new systems. It's like, oh bloody hell, we would have thought Bruno out there, and Ajax guys told us that, didn't they? That players can play different positions and do different things. But I don't know. I just feel like it'd be interesting to see how this all knits together, and that's what's actually exciting about this. You got a whole new type of striker in Rasmus Hojlund. We've got to get to know his game. You got a whole new keeper in Onana. You got a whole new different profile of midfielder that we don't have in Mason Mount. Like, it is changing. Like, what we're doing is changing. So it's not like me kind of saying, I think we're going to be rubbish. It's me saying I'm excited to see, like, how this knits together, because it isn't 100% clear in my mind, and obviously that's why I'm not the manager, but that's why I'm excited to see what the plan is with Ten Hag in this second phase.
Well, and also as well, let's be honest, I think the vast majority of people watching this, there's over nearly 3k watching, so hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to bottom right hand corner. But I think the vast majority of the people watching here haven't watched a ton of Rasmus Hojlund games, so we don't know. Again, we don't, I guess, necessarily know exactly what we're getting. There might be elements or attributes to Hojlund's game which maybe he hasn't shown that much at Atalanta, which Ten Hag, so actually he can be really good for me up front, not just from like the goal scoring side of things, but he's going to press from the front really well, he's going to be high energy, he's going to follow my sort of, he's going to coordinate my press exactly how I want from the front or anything like that. Again, or we might have seen his link-up play, I really like his link-up play. We don't know. I mean, I can't sit here and go, I know exactly what we're getting in Rasmus Hojlund. You can look at the basic facts, which is he's young, exactly. He hasn't scored a ton of goals. He scored 9 last year. Over 2 seasons playing in Austria, he scored, I think it was, again, a combined 9. He scored at international level. There have been some interviews with the likes of Christian Eriksen who play with him. I think he was asked, could he be a United player? And he said, absolutely. So he's highly rated in that regard. I don't think anyone came in, or certainly towards the end of last season when we were talking about, we need to get a striker. Rasmus Hojlund's name was not on anybody's lips at all. No one thought that's what it was going to be. So I think there is an element of curiosity about it. And there's an element of excitement, I think, from me too, because it's like, man, what have United seen, or what have Ten Hag seen, and what does Ten Hag think he can get out of him? Because, with all young signings, there's always a risk, isn't there? And you hope that they can develop into something. So again, like you, I'm sort of fascinated of this season. Certainly stylistically, we're going to play a bit different than we played last season, because there are more pieces in place for Ten Hag. The puzzle is not complete, but certainly there are more pieces there than were last year. Particularly when it comes, like you said, goalkeeper, striker that you would hope is going to be available more often than not. So there are some more pieces there, but we're far from complete.
Yeah, it is far from complete, and this is where we've got to balance the expectation of what we need now. Versus you get a young kid like this, so you can't expect certain things now. We need goals now. That's the thing. Like, we need the striker now.
That's why people wanted Harry Kane or Osimhen, because when you saw last season how off it we were in terms of goals scored, we were like nearly bottom in the top 10 really in terms of goals scored. So I think that's why it just seems so obvious of get Harry Kane, get an Osimhen, because you get 25, 30 goals, and that was the difference between us and like City and Arsenal, wasn't it? Whereas with Hojlund, you bring him in, you don't know, he could, but it's unlikely that he's going to come in and score 30 goals in his first season. It's unlikely,
and I kind of have to reserve that kind of judgment until we, see him for 10, 15 games to have a look at him, basically, in this system, in this league, with these players at our club. Because, like you said, we don't know. We don't know what we're expecting. But it's balancing that buy-in, isn't it, of giving just enough back where we can get behind it, because we can see how good he is and see that he has scored quite a few goals. But this is missing and that's missing, but that will come. Versus the kid looks out of his depth. Because you can have, look, and I'm not trying to be negative, but you can have like a season from hell. You can have like a 6 months from hell to get acclimatized. You're young, you've got to move across with your family, you're a young kid.
Well, look at someone like Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez, when he came in, everyone's like, actually, I don't know about that. And that was about 100 million euros, wasn't it? I think around that sort of price, including add-ons. So, again, with strikers, you never know, because strikers can have a couple of hot seasons in one league and then come to the Premier League and struggle. And to be honest, with Hojlund, he didn't really had a hot season at Atalanta. You know what I mean? I think maybe showed some glimpses. There's a reason United are interested, but that's when we go back to any signing's a gamble, but this one does feel like a big one, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Particularly for when it comes to the price.
It does. Because that's what we're talking about. Even just fixed price, like add-ons are add-ons, and again, no one gives a crap about add-ons if you pay them because someone's good and won trophies. I couldn't care less about that because they only get activated at a certain point. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a university loan. Once you're earning over a certain amount, you start paying it back or whatever.
Yeah.
If you do earn that amount, you're happy in your life that you're earning that, and then you start paying it back. If you don't, then you don't pay it back. It's how I haven't been uni for a long time, but I know that's how it used to work anyway.
It still does.
It still does, yeah. So if you earn way under that, then you're never going to have to pay it back. So add-ons are add-ons. Just as what I don't think you can't just skirt over the fact that you're paying big 65 million for a kid who's relatively unknown. You can't just ignore that. You can't just go, oh, well, it don't matter. The manager wants him. You have to discuss that, and you have to be aware of that. But I do agree that shouldn't. I do agree that when it's all said and done, week in, week out, he's our player, and the most important thing is getting behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Because make no mistake, there are going to be rival fans.
It can't be. Yeah, it's a load of rubbish. We paid this.
Yeah.
And after year one, and it might have been a tough year. You can't do that. Otherwise, what do you want as fans? We get the short stopgaps for not that much money, like Cavani, because you just not pay as you play, but it's attainable for a short stopgap, and then they don't hit the ground running. Then you try and get potential that you can build on, and now it's just the price is too high. We can't win.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, make no mistake, because we do it to opposition clubs too, that the first game Rasmus Hojlund plays, whether it be in the Prem or on a friendly or whatever, or if he has a bit of a slow start, there will be those fans on Twitter that will be on him. This guy's shit. United, you've had your pants pulled down. Hilarious United. Ha ha ha. And we've got to back him. And we can't be, again, and I know there will be, but we can't be that fan base that's just immediately writing them off. I've seen people doing it with Mason Mount already. And I'm not saying blind faith to the point where you're being deluded, but at the same time, you've got to give people time. Like, you have to. You just have to. Particularly a player that's like 19, 20, that is clearly a player for the future.
But some people are already saying, like, on Twitter to me, and patience, because I said, look, patience is needed with him. Patience, not at that price. It needs to be now. Like, we don't get to get patience for that money and just. Well, what you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with just players. You're dealing with literally human beings who, the price tag again. They don't decide the price tag. And you still need patience. I know it's annoying as a fan to hear it, but it's a fact.
Yeah,
it's a fact. Yeah. But again, the balance of the buy-in still does need to be there. Though, again, you can't. It's like Ten Hag. We need patience with a new manager because he had to undo loads of things. Yeah. But if he finished 12th last year, unacceptable.
Oh yeah, you have to see hints and elements. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, and as long as I see that, as long as I see the team functioning better, I see him, growing in confidence. Obviously, I see him scoring goals. At what rate, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But he's our striker. We've brought him in for that. Or if indeed he's a Firmino type, and then all of a sudden we're scoring more as a result of him being there.
Yeah.
Then I don't mind that either. If Marcus Rashford's getting 8 more goals a season, and then Anthony's getting double figures now, and then Bruno's now back to scoring ways and getting double figures as well, as a result of a link-up play with Rasmus Hojlund, making everybody, play better, and Rasmus Hojlund chips in with his own 12 or 15, then I'm happy. I'm not infatuated with having to have one guy who gets the golden boot and he's up there. I know people say you need a 25-goal man. I believe you need at least one of them in your front line. It doesn't always have to be the number 9. Liverpool proved that for ages, but it's a bit different because they had a prime Salah and Mane who got 20 each all the time. But there's ways around it if the style of play is fine. Like Arsenal, look at Arsenal. They're a classic example. Last year, like, they mounted a title challenge and fell off. I get that, but Jesus was missing for 4 months. He got double figures. Well, he get 12. Yeah. Martinelli got just below Rashford at like 15, something like that. Saka got round about the same. Odegaard chipped in. You can share the goals around, and still, it depends how well of a team you're building.
Well, sometimes as well, when
Hojlund needs to get 25.
When you're in a team with better players too, suddenly your level goes up as well. You know, who's to say that it wasn't an issue when it comes to us last season of chance creation. We created a lot of chances last year. Bruno Fernandes, he should have had way more assists than he actually got last year.
Yeah.
And maybe his point might be, actually, I tell you what, because half the season I was playing with Weghorst up front. So I knew I wouldn't. Exactly. I was creating chances, but if a striker's half decent, then they'll probably score goals. So maybe that might be part of it too. Just if he's playing around better players and he's with people that are actually, you know, giving him decent service, then maybe his goals can improve. And again, I mean, because even if he scores, let's say he scores 10 goals again, right? It's basically what he scored last year, 10 goals. I mean, people might put and go, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. But for a 20-year-old in the Premier League, is that good enough? It's context, isn't it? Because, like you said, if the players around him score goals, then maybe you go, oh, actually, he's got still room to develop. Because it's not just, and this is why I say we have to be careful, because it shouldn't just be Hojlund's come in now, so our goal scoring should go up. Yes, it should improve a bit, but also you should be looking towards those other players in the squad, like Anthony, like Sancho, even like Bruno. Bruno said it himself in the interview that he did with you after that first game at the MetLife. He said, my numbers weren't good enough last season. It wasn't my best season when it came to numbers. So everyone else has to pull their weight too. It's not just, you know, it's not just a one-person situation. It's also got to be those other players as well.
Exactly, 100%, and that's why we have to. You know, part of getting a striker is not just because we need that guy needs to score the 20. It's about the whole team. It's about the whole team. Attacks breaking down, you know, moves breaking down because the hold-up play is not good enough. You losing the ball and attacks keep breaking down at that end. There isn't someone working hard enough in that focal point striker position. Chance creation in terms of a genuine goal threat in and around the box for defenders to think about, as opposed to just homing in on Rashford or having to rely on Bruno coming from deep and him doing it. Like, there needs to be that genuine striker to knit everything together. The same way it starts from the back, it also finishes at the front. And when you don't have the finisher, you don't complete moves. The same way you don't build moves if you don't start properly from the back. It's the same thing. And also,
remember, Flex, we played a whole season, basically, last season, without a recognised striker week in, week out.
Exactly.
Like Anthony Martial didn't complete 90 minutes. Wout Weghorst came in the second half of the season, and eventually he was so shit that we stopped playing him up front because we went, let's just not bother.
Exactly.
You know? So actually having a striker that's there, that if he is half decent and is developing into a better player, even that can make a difference. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm clutching at straws there because, again, this wasn't the ideal signing. Make no mistake. This wasn't the person we wanted straight away when the transfer window opened. We wanted Harry Kane. But for those people, and I still see those people, go get Harry Kane. I mean, unless something dramatically changes with Daniel Levy's mindset, the only place that Harry Kane will be going outside of Spurs this summer will be Bayern Munich. That will be it.
And it looks like he's going to stay there. We definitely can't afford him now. Like I think any dream of like maybe we could come near the end if it becomes more available. I'm just like, where would we find £90 million now to get Harry Kane? Now you spend 7, you know.
That's where you sell players, isn't it? McTominay, Maguire, 40 million apiece. Henderson. But that's my point. And again, that's my point.
Well, now we're into the point of, remember when you said I said we'll sign 4 players. And you said 3. You changed your mind and said, actually, it probably would be 4.
Yeah, I think it would.
Well, you're looking at it now, it probably would be Amrabat for 25 million. That's like we could probably scrape the barrel and still afford that out of our budget. Then after that, it's about who you sell. And could you raise 90 million-ish if a dream move for Harry Kane? You probably could raise it, but it's highly unlikely. I think it's highly unlikely.
But again,
we don't sell well.
I think with but that's why I say also when it comes to those outgoings like Maguire, like McTominay, those people, they're not even championship players, That's when you go, no, you've got to live in reality, okay? You've got to get as much money as you can because you've got to give yourself some options. Give yourself an option that come the end of the window, and depending on how the season starts as well, a bit like last season, if it starts poorly, or even if it starts average, and you go, actually, there's room for one more. We can squeeze one more in addition to Amrabat. Go and do it. Go bring that person in because they could make the difference this season.
Yeah,
look at those signings that we made after the season started last year, Casemiro and Anthony. Certainly Casemiro made a massive difference for us. And who's to say that was always going to happen if it wasn't for the poor start that we had, you know? So I think, again, you sell those money, you do good, you sell those players, get decent money, do good business, and then you never know. You never know who else you can get.
Yeah. No, that is the key. Well, breaking news, me and KG will be going to shoot a video right now
Oh.
on this, because live, well, it's not live, recorded from Las Vegas. It wasn't going to be on Here We Go, Rasmus Hojlund. It was going to be on the fact that we're in Vegas and what we're expecting to happen, etc. But we will have to get instant reaction from Mr. KG and just obviously discuss it a little bit further after you. So that video will be coming for you guys very, very shortly. So, yes, I will exit the chat.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on my own channel. Really appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome anytime.
Merry 2 new years of years and news.
Yes. Thank you very much. Just Josh Media, Graphics Guru, Visual Ninja.
Hashtag GOAT.
Yes.
Yeah, so big up, and actually, just while we're live as well, because I haven't had a chance to address you guys live, to every single one of you who've been watching the content, to every single one of you that we've met since we've been here in the US, you lot have been absolutely insane. Like, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And actually, Owen, you'd be surprised the amount of people we've met that were asking, where's Owen? Where's Marcel? Oh, where's tell Cam this. We really are making an amazing platform for United fans around the world. And it wasn't until I come to the US, because this is the first time since I've been doing content creation of coming to the US, with a channel with United View. And the love and how many people watch it is just insane. And we pride ourselves on doing things different, as you guys can see with how different our content is to so many others out there. We're loving it. So big up to all of you. And me and KG got another video coming for you here from Las Vegas.
Yes, from Sin City. Right, they will hear from you later. I will speak to you soon, Flex. Big up.
Big up.
Big up, and big up to Josh and KG as well. Peace.
Yes.
No. A quick no from Just Josh there. Well, look at that as well. Cross-Atlantic communication phones. They've been around for a while. Let me get to the super chats as well, because I know that there's been loads coming in whilst I was on the phone there. Right, where was I? I was up to Shane, wasn't I? There you go. Oh, CeeLo, actually. That was the last one I did. Vacation Pappy's been a member for 13 months. Says, if we spent 28 more for Kane, then we wouldn't get Amrabat. For Eric Ten Hag, it's about strengthening our numbers. By the way, Tauflex is supposed to be 115 in Vegas. I don't need to tell him, Vacation Pappy, yeah? I saw the stories. Go and follow them at FlexUTD on Instagram, at KG That Comedian, at Just Josh Media on Instagram as well. His stories are legendary. That heat is real. Very, very real. So you can see how they deal with it as well. It's outrageous. Even I was like, no chance. So Marcus says, didn't Liverpool pay 100 million euros for Nunez? And what has he done so far? Well, they're all saying, aren't they? Well, this will be the season. So for some people, it can certainly take a season to bed in as well. City champs. I wonder who they support. You guys wasting money. Good luck, though. Hey. City, don't even start by talking about money, because then we'll talk about money that isn't technically on the books, or money that's been pumped into the club artificially, or inflated sponsorships. We could talk a lot about money and Manchester City at the moment. Lots of FFP fines going around for Chelsea, for us. Where are the ones for City? Very strange. Minset says, the main difference is Ten Hag. We used to focus on a player or two instead of strategizing and changing targets like we do now. What else we got here? Red Baron says, what is more of a gamble? Going into the season without a striker or with one? Certainly we need to get a striker, no doubt about that. I totally agree. Says, here we go, and Owen almost simultaneous. Wow. This is what I do. I was sitting here waiting all day. I was like that Ronaldo celebration, sitting here like this, my eyes closed, and I was waiting, and then once it comes in, I hear the, here we go, and then my eyes open, I go, right, go live. Everything's ready. That's the dedication that you need on a Saturday evening. What else have we got here in the chat too? GJE's been a member for 2 months. Appreciate 2 months of support. Says, excited about Hojlund. If he is reliable with availability and can contribute to 10 to 15 goals, 5 assists in the Prem, that will be fantastic. Amrabat next. Yes, indeed, that looks to be like the next target is seemingly going to be Sofian Amrabat, according to Alfredo Padula as well. How many likes are we currently on at the moment? We are currently on close to 900, 889. We've got over 2,700 people watching, which is amazing, by the way, on a Saturday evening. So if you haven't already, click that like button. We can get to 1K likes live. Can you imagine? Oh, for a solo stream, it wasn't really solo. It was with Flex. Flex was doing the heavy lifting with me across the pond in Las Vegas. And as Flex said, they're just off to record that video now. So if you're waiting, to say, oh, Owen, forget your opinion. It doesn't matter. Where's Flex? Where's KG? Where are their opinions? It's coming. It's just like with everything, they're technically backwards in time from where I currently am. So they're going to record it. It's going to be up later today. So you are going to get reaction from them. I did see some comments on the channel saying, why was there was nothing earlier today or anything like that? It's because, like I said at the beginning of the video, we were waiting. We knew this news was probably going to come today. And you don't want to be... at the end of the day, we're all fans. The last thing you constantly want to hear is the whole, like, you know, nearly done, nearly there. Like, you know, close. It's really close.
What?
It's going to get even closer.
What?
Fee close.
What?
Last talks.
What?
Last details.
What?
I mean, we could go on and on. We don't. It's monotonous. It's very, very frustrating. So I waited, and I was actually recording a video to say that we're close, but I don't know what's going to happen. And then it went live anyway. So there you go. It was superb timing. Absolutely. What else have we got here? It's not just about the members' chats and super chats as well. Let's see what some of our members are saying in the chat at the moment. My style advisor says Kane next summer. Well, look, with Harry Kane, you never know, I think. This summer seems a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? As to... like I said to Flex, if he's going to leave Spurs, it does feel like he's going to end up going to Bayern Munich, because despite Daniel Levy being told, or as Marcel would call him, David Levy, being told that he has to be sold this summer or sign a new contract, doesn't look like he's going to sign a new contract, and Daniel Levy still doesn't want to sell to a Premier League club. So unless he really forces it, which I don't think he'll do, if he does leave this summer, it feels like he could go to Bayern Munich. But look, if he goes on if he stays and he doesn't sign a new contract, or they risk hoping that the season can go in a good direction for Spurs and he'll sign a new thing, then United have got a chance. And then come January, maybe that's when United, possibly with new owners, fingers crossed, right? With new owners, maybe they can put a bid in then, even for a player that's got 6 months left, or wait until the summer and sign him on a free. So there's still a possibility. We're certainly not, I don't think, in pole position right now when it comes to Kane. But I still, again, depending on outgoings, depending on the amount of money we get for certain players, I wouldn't rule out a possible, another look at the striker position this summer. Amrabat's the next one. That whole backup goalkeeper thing looks to be put on the back burner a bit, doesn't it? Looks like Tom Heaton's going to be the number 2. Possibly Matty Kovar might stay. And I've been saying he should be the number 2 anyway. So maybe we save a bit of money from that. And if Amrabat does cost 25 to 30 million pounds, maybe there's a bit left over in the KG war kitty, and that does mean we could get another striker that's a bit less expensive and is not as good clearly as a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen, but offers more support. So the transfer window is certainly going to be very, very curious, as we've got, what is it, about a month left, about 5 weeks left of it, something like that. Some people say Kolo Muani. You never know. I mean, I don't think we're going to get those giant transfers or anything like that. I don't think that one's going to happen, it must be said. But anything's possible. I mean, at the moment, if indeed this is sort of 65 million pounds as a fixed fee, what did Mason Mount cost? Was it 55? I think it was. Is that right? 55. So we're already Onana costs about 40. So we've already spent like 140 million, 150 million pounds, and we're meant to have a transfer spend allegedly, or a budget of 120, 150 net, something like that. So we're in that sort of period now where we have to sell players to buy, I think, certainly, but I wouldn't rule it out. And my prediction was still 4 players though, and in terms of incomings. Initially it was 3, and then I went to 4. Real Killer says Glazers want 8 billion now. I did see that yesterday, but it wasn't from the most sort of reputable outlets, so I don't know about that. I mean, they did say, didn't they? Carve was on Sky Sports yesterday saying that we would maybe get developments next week when it comes to the Manchester United takeover situation. To be honest,
bullshit.
I will believe it when I see it. I will believe that when I see it. When any developments for the takeover, like I said, it's proper boy who cried wolf territory, isn't it? No doubt about that. We're currently 14 likes away from 1,000 likes live. Could you imagine? So if you haven't already, click that like button and be sure to subscribe. And be sure, when you subscribe, to click the notification bell, because you'll be notified if indeed when we go live for possibly another Here We Go. You never know. Amrabat could come soon, maybe. Or certainly once there's an announcement by United, because the next thing is an announcement from United. That could come really at any point. They could do the double announcement, the thing where they announce that they've agreed a fee, subject to medical and all that kind of stuff. And then they do the actual proper Hojlund announcement. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And also when it comes to Amrabat, you never know how quickly that one could develop. So be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live or a video gets uploaded, like the one coming later today with Flex and KG in Sin City in Vegas, discussing this Rasmus Hojlund Here We Go as well. And then tomorrow, it's match day again. So you've got full match day content. We're going to be live in the Asylum in the early hours of the morning. Manchester United versus Borussia Dortmund. Where we have the match view for that, plus the fan views with Flex, KG. Hopefully some chats with the players, a behind the scenes look in the stadium. I think there's going to be a video dropping giving you a tour of Allegiant Stadium. Honestly, it's really, really nice. As I mentioned, they've done quite a few WWE events there. Well, they did SummerSlam in 2021. It's a very nice stadium, no doubt about it. And we hit over 1K likes. Look at that. What a day it's been. Just Manchester United, right? It's constant, isn't it? It's always going. It's always go, and hopefully we're going to get more Here We Goes as the window goes on. Anyway, guys, look, smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As I mentioned, more content on the horizon, more news, more transfer news, more tour content. You don't want to miss a single thing. I'm out of it. Have a good Saturday. Peace.